And welcome to today's Aquila University. We are going to be discussing MS Word and some tips and tricks that a lot of people really don't know about and can help your authoring not only go faster but look better. Note, we are recording the training and it will be placed up on our website. If you have any concern about your name, your question, any questions you ask, and certainly any answer appearing on our website, please connect now, and we will send an email with training once it's available, probably on Monday. My name is Josh Boutwald, and I founded Aquila Solutions in 2010, and since then we've been working with large numbers of sponsors, not just doing their publishing, but also a lot of authoring and other work. And I don't know how many times I've had questions about documents to look right or having to redo work because people brute force formatting. And so with that, we decided to do this training to hopefully help some people with their own authoring. As an overview, I'm going to go over today's, just a general overview of today's training. And some of the areas we're going to specifically talk about are styles, table contents, and paragraph formatting. This is hardly an exhaustive list of all the different things Word can do, but they're the most common things that people should be using on a day-to-day basis that they don't seem to know about, or seem to know how to use well. There will be time for questions, and finally we'll discuss our next Aquila University training. So, MS Word, it is the standard in document authoring. It is the industry giant. And there's a reason for this. It's been out a very long time, and it's ridiculously powerful. You know, I'm an expert in Word, and it does a lot of stuff. I'm constantly surprised by the things it can do that I never knew about. It's flexible. It actually is reasonably intelligent. It looks at your formatting and can automatically take what you type and make it look better. It's really pretty good at that. But with intelligence comes a big issue. Just because Word thinks it knows what it's doing doesn't mean it actually does. And especially with large, complex documents like we are working on in pharmaceuticals, the automated process and the intelligent systems around the word processing just don't make sense a lot of times. And it's just so many people are pulling their hair out because Word is not cooperating. So that are pretty common are formatting that no matter what you do seems to come back. Word just won't let you delete character or something like that. Pages that when you look fine on the screen, but when you try to print them or turn them to a PDF or something like that, everything gets messed up. Then a couple of contents, and I don't know how many times I've had issues with people in table of contents. And then there's some other basic things that we'll discuss. After I go over the 4 areas that I'm going to be talking about, there will be time for other questions. If you have a specific question about something that you think Word can do, you've heard Word can do, or you wish Word can do, let me know, and I'll see about doing a demo right now, right after in this training. And if not, please feel free to email us or give us a call, and we'll try to help you work through your problems. So, number 1 are styles. Are perhaps the most functional but least well understood thing in Word. Type. Everyone knows what a font is. You know, that's a style of text and the size of it, and you get different colors and bold and underlined and all of that. The font effects. The paragraph effects like tab and line breaks and things like that. Lists are actually a paragraph effect. What is so often a problem is when you're working with a 200-page document, how do you know the fonts and the paragraph layout used at the beginning exactly match the use at the end, short of going through line by line? It is a nightmare to do that. And Word introduced the style menu, different styles. And styles are nothing more than the collection of font and paragraph layouts plus a few other things that are associated together with a name. And if you type in text and you highlight it, then select a style, that will have the exact same formatting everywhere in the document. That makes it very, very easy to not just make sure your formatting stays the same, but also updating everything that's the same style, the same type of text, all in go, into being able to the font, just the style of text, or the font and paragraph and all that, to style when you select it. Use the style and apply to all the text that's assigned to that style in the document. One thing to note is you can apply a style, have it as the style, and then do minor changes, like a little bit of spacing or something like that for that one occasion. If update the style, it will overwrite that, and it may mess up your formatting. An example of some of the styles. So on this, I have normal, and this is just the default Word stuff. There's nothing fancy. I would not suggest using these styles in your authoring, but this is just one of the standard packages Word comes with. So in this case, I've got normal, heading 1, heading 2, and I also use subtitle. So normal text is just a standard body text. And this would be the vast majority of your document. But you have a heading, a major heading, and you want to have all your headings look the same. You would just type it out, highlight it, heading 1, and it's formatted the style bar, and all the headings will be the same. And for any number of different categories of text, you can create your own as well. Now, say to update it. The simplest way is to type text and format it the way you want. Then you edit it, and on the style you want to edit, you do a right click with your mouse, update the edit text selection. Then the style will change to match whatever you typed in. It will adjust the entire document to match that. Everything where that style is used will have the same format. For instance, you want it's possible to set up a style to show it as all caps. Do that, the format, and no matter where it is in the document, all of a sudden, it's all caps. Now, it's like caps. It really isn't. But the style is forcing it to look like it across the whole document. That's very common with a lot of header styles. And warning, this changes across the whole document, and individual paragraphs, individual sections may have minor tweaks that will be destroyed with this. the common things that have issues are the lists can have this sort of be damaged by change. You want to go through and look at it after you do one of these changes, or before you type anything in. Next are captions. So exactly are captions and cross-references. These are the text that describes something in the document. A table, it can be an image, it can be an equation, it can be anything. But text that's associated with it so that the reader knows what they're supposed to understand from that image or from that item. Interesting thing about captions in Word is they can be referenced. You can create links from one to a caption that's dynamic. The Word document will move you click on it, it'll take you to that caption or that figure. It can also be referenced by tables of contents. And what really makes it flexible is you can create your own groups. You can customize them, make them look any way you like. Create a caption. We do our Word document, and we click on the References ribbon. It looks something like this. On Insert Caption. Make sure you have your pointer where you want to insert the caption. And here you can type in the text. So caption, in this case, it's a figure. The text you want. You use the label, figure, table, equation, or a new label. And labels are grouped together and counted together. So you can create a label of, say, listings. And anytime you add a caption for a listing, it will count using, it will only count those captions that are listing captions. Define how it's numbered and things like that. Once something's in there, you hit OK. It's a caption for you. I don't believe I have an example of one of those on here. Now, say you want to reference it. You put it here in, you're typing your report, and you need to call out the contents of that figure. You mouse where you want the reference, and go to the ribbons, but in this case, you do the cross-reference. And that's this window. For reference type you want, we had done a figure. And you tell it what text you want to be entered into your document. Most of the time, you probably only want the figure, like figure 1, or table 1, or chapter 1. You can do anything like that. In that case, you would select only label and number. Our caption is figure 1, this is test, the figure, the number, plus all the text that you typed in. Insert. It'll insert that text. One of the things is, even if you move the figure around, if you move the caption around, it'll number it in the correct order if you change the order of the captions, and it'll still go to that page. Tables of contents. So, speaking, a table of contents is a collection of cross-references that are formatted using the same style, get specific styles or formatting, and include a page number. And while there are default table of contents formats, you can create them any way you like. can make them look any way you like. Really incredibly flexible. The simple way to create a table of contents. Like our References tab, in this case, you click Table of Contents. It pulls up this menu. A standard built-in formats, or your custom table of contents, and you can update it and create, modify it however you like. It pops up this window and allows you a lot of control over how your table of contents actually looks. Two buttons down here that I'm not going to go into because they're just so complex that you need a lot more time. But basically, the Options button will define what this table of contents will reference, and will define things as top level or second level or third level, etc. Modify allows you to define fonts, tabs, and other formatting just for the table, but for each level. Next, we have paragraph formatting, and this is the one that I find most useful and most people seem to have never heard of. Some common issues, some questions. Paragraphs, when you're typing, your paragraph is split up between pages. Why decide to do that? You've added a caption, but the caption falls on a different page from the figure. What's happening? What space comes from the top of my page? Is my text starting 7 lines down instead of at the top? And then my favorite is, how many times do I have to reformat my document? How many times do you have to go through it, beginning to end, to make sure everything lines up correctly? Can be solved with paragraph formatting. Formatting is where you define the rules that Word is using to figure out how to lay out the page. So our line spacing. So space between each paragraph. Do you want it 1.5 space? No space? Smaller than that. Overhangs. Do you want to format it like a standard paragraph with an automatic tab space in the first line, or to format it like a reference where the first line is outdented compared to the rest of the paragraph? That's how you define that. This is where you find your tab stops, how you group your paragraphs together. To modify, to get to your paragraph settings, there are two ways to do it. Number one is that little corner icon, oops, pointing to the wrong one, under the paragraphs. When you click this, it will open up this window. Or if you click on something, you click on the paragraph and it'll open up the same window. The window has two tabs, indent and spacing and line and page breaks. The paragraph spacing is the first one that comes up, typically is what you'll see. So you should be familiar with justification, left, right, full justified. This is what, when you hit the buttons on the Home tab, this is what it's actually changing, is the alignment. Line level. And I had told you with the TOCs that the TOCs, you can define styles to reference in the TOC. You actually explicitly state that you want this paragraph to show up as a specific level, on a specific level in your TOC with using styles, and that's with this outline level. Next, we have indentation. This is where we define the heading or the first line indents, as well as the standard width of the paragraph. Do you want the entire paragraph to start half an inch in, both on the right and left, or should it, is there some other geometry you want? This is where you describe it. Then spacing. This is the area that I end up tweaking the most. It's a lot of people just bat crazy when Word decides to add a huge amount of space between two paragraphs, and you know why. Is what's doing that. Two options. There's add space before, add space after a paragraph. Space actually will overlap. So if you have paragraphs where the first one says add 8 point before, and the second paragraph says, or 8 point after, and the second paragraph says 8 point before, it will 8 point. It will add 16. These can be, you can add a huge amount of space here. The default is usually 6 or 8, between 12, even 24, and a style. And these can be carried over from styles, which is where they usually come from. And if you see a lot of space between your paragraphs, go to this paragraph and check this out. Check out this spacing. You want sure that you don't have, the numbers aren't too big. And another thing that's common is you may want to click this, which means if you have two paragraphs that have the same style, it will ignore the spacing. It'll treat them as if they're part of the same paragraph as far as spacing goes. Then the line spacing allows you to add space between lines inside of a paragraph. We have the line and page breaks. This is an important window. Most people who don't understand how Word works, using the breaks, the enter, to space things out. And you can make a simple document look pretty good that way. But when you get into the larger documents, the 20, 30, 200-page documents, and you had then any formatting change, even correcting spelling or something like that, can shift around. And all of a sudden, the pages that lined up perfectly, you've got your line breaks on the following page, and this is what causes your paragraphs to start halfway down the page. To avoid that, you use this window, and this is where you tell Word how you want it to control your document, your graphs. So first is the widow/orphan control, and this is usually turned on by default. What this does is it prevents a single line from being top or bottom of a page. So the top of a page would be a widow, or bottom of the page would be a widow, top page would be an orphan. What that means is if you start typing, you will end up with just a single line of your paragraph split off from the rest of the paragraph. It'll shift that line to the next page, or make another line come down. So there are at least two lines on the page. Keep with next. This allows you to keep Word splitting up two paragraphs. Then you've got two things that are very tightly linked, and you need to reference them on the same page. By hitting keep with next, we know that it's not allowed to put a page break in between those two paragraphs. It won't split them up. It will lift the entire first paragraph down to stay on the same page as the following paragraph. keep together. Or it'll allow keep with next. It will make part of the paragraph follow through to the next page. It won't allow it may break the paragraph, like the second paragraph, halfway through, but it won't break them between paragraphs. Together actually does the opposite. It prevents Word from breaking a paragraph in half. So say you want to make sure that your entire paragraph shows up on one page. Just highlight the paragraph and hit Keep Together, and it will always show up on one page. You want to keep two paragraphs together in their entirety on the same page. You highlight both paragraphs, and there you have a Keep With Next and a Keep Together. That for those paragraphs will always show up together. That's very useful when you're dealing with tables. It can keep your table formatted well, and that's how you keep your captions with your figures. Then page break before. Another thing a lot of people do are add hard page breaks. Where there's a line in there, it breaks the page no matter what. To a new page no matter what. The page break before is essentially the same thing, but for a paragraph. And the advantage is it's linked to that paragraph, so you can move that paragraph anywhere you want. It will always start at the beginning of a page. Now, some of the tips and tricks that we use. Number one, never use an insert page break option, the hard page break. Always paragraph formatting. You will be much happier. Why never use new lines or the enters to paragraphs. Always use the paragraph spacing. That's what it's there for. A thing that most people don't know about is if you're doing the same thing over and over again, let's say you're formatting a table, do it once, and then click on the next table you want to format and hit F4. That's why you do whatever the action you did, it will do that action to the current location. For instance, if you highlight a word and hit delete, go highlight another word and hit F4, it'll delete that word if you have highlighted. F9 allows you to update what are called field codes. These are fancy things that Word uses to all the really dynamic things. And field content is a kind of field code. You hit F9, it'll ask you whether you want to update the page numbering or the entire table. Generally, only do the page numbering unless you've actually added something to the document. And then finally, the figures. To keep the captions with your figures, you want to use Keep With Next. And to ensure that it stays together, Keep With Next and Keep Together. So a the figure will show up, or the caption will show up with the entire table, as an example. At that point, are there questions that people would like to ask or any demos you'd like to see?
Hello.
Yes.
Do you recommended style between the different styles that Microsoft Word provides?
I have not been happy with any of the standard styles that came with version of Word. I have the Home Office edition. And styles that came with, I just didn't like. I ended up creating my own. I just felt they weren't very they're businessy, honestly. I mean, like, looking back at here, this is one of the standard styles, and personally, I don't think he really wants to see my nice blue text. You know. So I actually spent a fair amount of time and designed my own styles that can go and, let's see if I can pull up Word easily. Hold on. So my copy of Word. I believe you actually, you can import and export styles. You can do some searches for styles that you like and can import those styles to use.
Okay.
I said I've not been particularly happy with the ones that I have available. It'd be different for different versions of the Office, but personally, like I said, just not pleased. Ended up designing my own. Questions? If you have any, please do not hesitate to call us. You can call me personally. My phone number is 404-446-4171, and I'd be happy to help you any way I can. In addition, we actually have another training in 2 weeks. Next training will be on ECTD around the world. We're going to be, we've done some recent research about who's currently accepting ECTD and how well they're doing it. And we're looking at the schedules for other countries when they project that they'll accept ECTD and how that's going. So I hope you'll join us on the 11th. And we'll again be 2 p.m. and we'll go for about half an hour. Joining, and I hope you have a great weekend.